Namaskaram, and welcome to the Heritage of India class on Prabandhams and Stotrams. We are now learning Swami Desikan's Sri Bhagavad dhyAna sOpAnam. We are now in part 3 of the series. So we have learned the Podu Taniyan, the beginning Taniyan, and also we have learned the first sloka. So we will start by reciting those first. So you can recite along with me, keeping yourself muted. Sriman Venkatanatharya Kavitarkika Kesari Vedantacharya Varyo Me Sannidhattam Sadahriti. Let me go to, okay. Antarjyoti kimapi yaminam anjanam yoga drishte chintaratnam sulabhamihana siddhi mokshanurupam dīnānātha vyasana shamanam daivatam daivatānam divyam chakshu shruti parishadam drishyate rangamadhye. So that was the very first slokam. There are 12 slokams. We will try to do 4 more today. So as I mentioned, it is a sOpAnam. It is a padikattu. It's a step-by-step enjoyment of Emperuman's angams, particularly Sri Ranganathar's angams. So the very first slokam that we learned is not about any specific angam of Ranganatha, but it's kind of an overview of all of him. And now, starting from the second sloka, we are going to do a padadi keshanta, an enjoyment of Emperuman, of Sri Ranganatha. That is starting with the feet and then working our way up gradually until we reach his head. Okay, so the very first anga that we are going to talk about is the feet, of course, because this is a padadi keshantam, so we are starting at the bottom. So we are now looking at Sri Ranganatha's feet. So that's the topic of this particular slokam. Now, Emperuman's Tiruvadi is probably the most glorified anga of Emperuman. Just about any Arvar, any Acharya, any poet who talks about Emperuman, they always, even if they don't talk about any other angas, they always talk about his Tiruvadi. In fact, even Tirukkural, which is supposedly kind of a secular literature, if you look at the very first chapter of Tirukkural, it's about Kadavul Varthu, you will find that it is talking extensively about Perumal's Tiruvadi. For example, if you look at the bottom left of this slide here, so it says here, Valarivan Nattral Torar Enin. All the underlined words are referring to his feet. Katradanalaya Payanenko, Valarivan Nattral Torar Enin. In other words, what is the use of learning, or what is the use of knowledge if they don't worship the holy feet of the Supreme Being, who is one of pure knowledge? So that is what Valarivan Nattral Torar Enin. I'll just give you one more example. Malarmisai Yeginan Man Adi Serndar Nilamisai Nidu Varvar. So the one who resides in the lotus flower of our hearts, that's Emperuman. So those who surrender at his glorious feet will live long and well. So in fact, out of the 10 Tirukkurals in that chapter, there are 7 of them are explicitly referring to the Emperuman's Tiruvadi. Vendudal Vendamai Ilanadi Serndarku, Tanakomai Illadan Thal Serndarkallal, Yengunathan Thalai Vanangathalai, Iraivan Adi Seradar, and so on, Aravari Andanan Thal Serndarkallal, and so on, Piravari Nindal Aridu, etc. So there are 7 out of 10 Tirukkurals which are specifically talking about Emperuman's Tiruvadi. So it's no surprising that everybody, all the bhaktas are enamored of the Tiruvadi. And so let's go through what Swami Desikan is saying about Emperuman's Tiruvadi. So the summary of this particular sloka is that Desikan says that his lotus feet are forever reflected in the pond of my mind. Now, we all refer to Tiruvadi as Tamarai, Tiruvadi Tamarai, or lotus feet. So in this particular sloka, Swami Desikan also mentions that, we'll refer to this as a lotus feet. And not only that, throughout that slokam, he will sustain that metaphor of lotus, the Emperuman's Tiruvadi as lotus. He will sustain that in all the lines of this particular slokam. Okay. So let's go through that. So he's going to say, let me first read it. So his feet have the unbounded fragrance of both Vedas. I'll explain that in a moment. And then Brahmas and Devas worship the lotus feet with their heads. And these feet, Emperuman's feet, appeared on the Kaveri River sandbank on which swans and acharyas lovingly reside. And then Sri Devi and Bhudevi, with their lotus hands, gently caress the Lord of Sri Rangam's lotus feet. And then he goes on to say that his mind is a pond, and Emperuman's lotus feet is reflected in that pond. Of course, a lotus belongs in a pond. So Swami Desikan creates a pond for Emperuman's lotus feet by saying that my mind is metaphorically a pond, and Emperuman's lotus feet are reflected in that particular pond. Okay, so I'll elaborate on each of these as we go through the actual sloka. So the first part is Veladita Shruti Parimalam. Okay, so Parimalam means fragrance. Shruti refers to the Vedas. So Shruti, as you know, just means something that is heard, because the Vedas were not explicitly written by anyone. It's supposed to be apaurushaya, or authorless. It was just heard by the rishis, and that's the reason that it's called Shruti, or that which was heard. So the Shruti Parimalam, the fragrance of the Vedas can be felt at the feet of Emperuman. And not only that, that fragrance is unbounded. Vela Atita. Vela means boundary or limit. Atita means exceeding. Now, just think of the Tamil word Veli. Veli means fence. Fence kind of defines a boundary. So think of Vela as being similar in meaning to Veli. It defines a boundary. So Vela, Atita, exceeding boundary, Shruti Parimalam. So his feet have the unbounded fragrance of both Vedas. What do I mean by both Vedas? Well, there are the Sanskrit Vedas, which are the Apaurushayas. But not only that, there are the Tamil Vedas. Now, the Tamil Vedas do have authors. So in that sense, they are different from the Sanskrit Vedas. However, they are Vedas nevertheless. So here, Swami Desikan is saying that the unbounded fragrance of both of the Vedas, Tamil Vedas as well as the Sanskrit Vedas, you can smell that fragrance at the feet of Emperuman. Okay, so the Vedas, of course, that's because the Vedas are singing the glory of Emperuman's feet, and that's the reason that the smell of the Vedas can be felt at Emperuman's lotus feet. Now, on that topic of the Vedas praising the glory of Emperuman's feet, for example, in Tiruchanda Vriddam, Tirumarsai Arvar makes a play on the word sol. Sol normally means word, but sol can also mean the great word, the holy word, which is the Vedas. So he has a pasuram in Tiruchanda Vriddam, pasuram number 11, where he says, Sollinal Todarchini, Solappadum Purulumni, Sollinal Solappadadu Tondruhindra Jodini, Sollinal Padaikani, Padaikavandu Tondrinar, Sollinal Surunganin Gunangal Solla Vallare. So he says here, the Sollinal Todarchini. So he says that by the Vedas, you are related to us. Of course, he is the soul that is embodied in all the Chetanas and Achetanas in this universe. So in that sense, he is connected to all of us according to the Vedas. That's what the Sollinal Todarchini. You are, we are an extension of you, if you want to think of it that way. Todarchi is extension. Solappadum porulum ni, that is the substance of the Vedas is you. So Vedangalinal sollappadum porulum nidan, Emperuman dan. That's what he is saying. That is the topic that is being talked about by the Vedas. That's also Emperuman, he says. And then sollinal solappadadu thonruginra jyotini. That is, so that which is not said by the Vedas, all the glory that is not said by the Vedas, they are also referring to you. That's also you. That's also the effulgence that is you. Sollinal solappadadu thonruginra jyotini. So what it means is that the Vedas cannot capture the full glory of Emperuman. So that's why the first part says, all the glory that the Vedas talk about, that is you. And the next part here says, all the glory that the Vedas cannot even talk about, that effulgence, that Jyoti is also, it's also you, okay? So you may remember this Sadasiva Brahmendra's composition, Salvam Brahmamayam, so where he says, Kim Vachaniyam, Kima Vachaniyam, Kim Rachaniyam, Kima Rachaniyam, Kim Vachaniyam. So all that is spoken of, all the glory that is spoken of, that is you. Kima Vachaniyam, all the glory that is not spoken of, that is also you. Kim Rachaniyam, all that is created is you. And then Kima Rachaniyam, all that is not created, that's also you. Okay, so the point is that the Vedas continually talk about the glory of Emperuman, and because of that, their fragrance is felt at is smelled at the holy feet of Emperuman. Okay, so let's come back here. So that's why Swami Desikan can distinctly sense the fragrance of both of the Vedas at the holy feet of Emperuman, at the lotus feet of Emperuman. So Velatita Shruti Parimalam. So I think that you find that there are many words that you already know. Parimalam you probably have heard of. Shruti you might have heard of. Vela, especially if you think of Veli, you might have heard of. Atitam, Atita Priyam Avanukku. So Atita, exceeding, excessive Priyam, for example. So in that sense, there are many words here that you already know. And then Vedhasam Mauli Sevyam. So Vedhasam refers to Brahmas and Devas. Mauli refers to the head. So for example, you talk about, you've heard the name Chandra Mauli as applied to Shiva Peruman, one who wears Chandra on his Mauli, on his head, on his Shiras. So Mauli refers to the head. Sevyam, of course, means Sevipadu, Vanangavadu, that which bows. So Brahmas and Devas worship them with their heads. So that's what it's meaning. Vedasam Mauli Sevyam. Now, I told you that Swami Desikan tries to sustain that metaphor of Emperuman's holy feet being a lotus flower. So if you imagine Brahma's bowing at his feet, so the feet on Brahma's head, it looks like Brahma is wearing the lotus flower. So that's the scenery that Swami Desikan is creating. So it is still a Tiruvadi Tamarai, and now the Tamarai looks as if Brahma and other devas are actually wearing that Tamarai, that lotus flower on their head. So Brahmas and devas worship them with their heads. Vedasam Mauli Sevyam. Sevyam, of course, means Sevipadu, or to bow. Pradurbhutam Kanaka Sarita Saikate Hamsa Juste. So here the meaning is that the feet appeared on the Ponni River sandbank or Manal Tittu, on which swans and acharyas lovingly reside. Okay, so for example, so Kanaka Sarita. Kanaka means gold, as you know, and Sarita means river. So the golden river, one of the names for Kaveri river is Ponni. You know, for example, the big, the magnum opus of Kalki, that Ponniyin Selvan, that refers to the son of the Ponni river, son of the Kaveri river, that Arulmozhivarman. So anyway, Kanaka Sarita, Kanaka Ponni Nadi, which refers to Kaveri. Saikate, on its sandbank. Pradurbhutam, it appeared, the feet appeared on the sandbank of the Ponni river, where Hamsa Juste. Hamsa has two meanings. The literal meaning here is the swans. You can see all those swans here. Juste means reside. So where the swans willingly reside. But then Hamsa is also a proxy for acharyas here. Remember that when we were learning the Thiruvaimuri Padiyam of Sri Nammalvar in the Nayika Bhavam, so where he is sending various birds and animals as messengers. In one of the places he says, Vidinal Padamanakkum Mennadaya Annangal, Madinal Kuralmanai Ulagiranda Kalvarku, etc. So, and in that context, I said that all the animals and birds that he is sending as messengers, that they're all a proxy for the Acharyan. So in that sense, the Annangal, the swans are also a proxy for the Acharyas. So really it's saying that it's not just the Hamsas that reside willingly, not just the swans that reside willingly in Sri Rangam, it's even the Acharyas that reside willingly in Sri Rangam, okay? So within all Padayamanakum, of course, what aspect is common to the swans and Acharyas? Well, the mythical swan is capable of separating water from milk and just drinking the milk. In a similar way, the acharyas are capable of separating the good from the wrong and only preaching what is good to their devotees. Okay, so pradurbhutam kanakasarita saikate hamsa jushte. So on the sandbanks or on the beaches of the Kaveri River, where the Hamsa, where the swans and acharyas willingly reside, that's where the Emperuman's feet, Sri Ranganatha's feet appeared. Of course, that's where the Vibhishna on his way to Lanka stopped, and so that's where the Swami's feet appeared. Now, the one thing that it's trying to say is that normally you would expect lotus flowers to appear in muddy waters, for example. But here he says this is a lotus flower that appeared on the sand bank. So that's, in that sense, it's a very unique lotus flower. That's what he's saying. Then the third line is going to say Sri Devi and Bhudevi with their lotus hands gently caress the Lord of Sri Rangam's lotus feet. Lakshmi, Bhumyo. So you understand Lakshmi, you understand Bhumyo. Bhumyo is Bhumi Devi. Kara, Sarasijair. Kara means hands. Sarasijair refers to the lotus. So it is with their lotus hands. Lalitam Ranga Bhartu. Lalitam means they caress, they are caressing. Ranga Bhartu, Ranga Bhartu. Bharta means Lord. But Bharta can also mean husband, but in this case, Ranga Bhartu means the Lord of Ranga. So it's going to say, so the Lakshmi Devi or Sri Devi and Bhu Devi with their hands, with their lotus hands, are caressing the Ranga Bhartu's lotus feet. Okay, so now, so that's what he's saying here. Now, on that topic, just imagine this. Sri Devi herself has been described in many ways as an embodiment of the lotus flower. So, in fact, if you look at the Sharanagati Gadyam, in Sharanagati Gadyam, Swami Bhagavad Ramanujar refers to, you remember that the very first verse of the Gadyam, the Sharanagati Gadyam, so Bhagavad Ramanujar surrenders to Sri Devi, because Sri Devi, she is the bridge, she is the recommender as far as being a connection between us and an Emperman is concerned. So that's the reason that Bhagavad Ramanujar, in his very first verse in Sharanagati Gadyam, he surrenders to Sri Devi. For example, he says, Bhagavan Narayana Bhimata Nurupa Swarupa Rupa Guna Vibhavaishwarya Siladhyanavadhikatisaya Asankyeya Kalyana Gunaganam. And then the next thing he says is Padmavanalayam. Padma Vana Alayam. Padma is lotus, Vana means forest, Alayam means residence. So there are home. There are two ways to interpret that Padma Vanalayam. So one is to say that Sri Devi lives in a forest. Her home is a forest of lotus flowers. But the more interesting interpretation of that is that Sri Devi herself is home to a forest of lotus flowers. Now, how exactly is Sri Devi home to a forest of lotus flowers? Well, for that, if you just look into Sri Suktam in Rig Veda, there are many, many places where it refers to Sri Devi entirely in terms of Padma, the lotus flower. So, for example, it says here in one place in Sri Suttam, Padmanane, Padma Uru, Padmakshi, Padma Sambhave. Padmanane means lotus face. Padma Uru. Uru means the thigh or the lap, madi. So Tamarayai Madiyaha Kondavar. So the one who is supported by lotus, that's what Padma Uru means. And then Padmakshi, who has a lotus eye, Padma Sambhave, one who is born of lotus. Actually, there's another place also in Sri Suttam. I don't have it written down here, but let me just read that to you. It has even more references to Padma. Padma Priye, Padmini, Padma Haste, Padmalaye, Padmadalaya Dakshi. Padma Priye, you're fond of lotus. Padmini, possessor of lotus. Padma Haste, you hold lotus in your hands. Padmalaye, you dwell on lotus. Padma Dalaya Dakshi, though your eyes are like lotus petals. So you see, Sri Devi, when you look at her, she's a forest of lotus flowers. And that Sri Devi, along with Bhudevi, is caressing the lotus feet. In other words, it's lotus serving lotus, if you will. So they are caressing the lotus feet of Emperor. So there's a lot of lotus when that happens. Lakshmi, Bhumyo, Karasara Sijair, with their lotus hands. Lalitam, they are caressing Ranga Bhattu, they are caressing the Lord of Sri Rangam's lotus feet. This Padam Bhojam, that is that Pada Ambujam, that is the lotus feet. Pratipalatime Bhavana Dirghikayam. Now, Dirghikayam refers to a pond. Dirghika means pond. So, Dirghikayam. So, Swami Desikan is saying, Me Bhavana, my thought. Remember that Bhavana means to think. For example, when you talk about Naika Bhavam, so Naika Bhavam is when an Arvar thinks of himself as a Nayaki. So think of Bhavana as thinking. So me Bhavana means my thought, which is metaphorically a pond, Dirghikayam. Adil Pratibalikindrade. So Pratipalati is equivalent to the Tamil word Pratibalikindrade. It is reflected. So that Padam Bhojam, that is Emperuman's lotus feet, is reflected in my mind, in my thought, which is a lotus, which is metaphorically a pond. Okay, so that is the meaning of the last line. Now, okay, so that is what Swami Desikan says about the lotus feet of Emperuman in the very first part where that describes an anga of Emperuman. Now, Tiruppanarvar, what does Tiruppanarvar say about the Emperuman's feet in his Amalanadipiran? After all, Amalanadipiran is the inspiration for Swami Desikan's Bhagavad dhyAna sOpAnam. So the very first pasuram of Tiruppanarvar's Amalanadipiran is Amalanadipiran Adiyarku Ennai Aatpadutha Vimalan Vinnavargon Virayar Poril Venkatavan Nimalan Ninmalan Nidivanavan Nil Madirarangathamman Thiru Kamalabadam Vandi and Kannil Ullana Okkindrade. Now Kamalapadam, that's the part that refers to Emperuman's lotus feet. Now, if you compare these two, there's something that you will notice here. Now, if you look at the Arvar's Pasuram, the last line talks about his lotus feet. But if you look at the first three lines, does he give anywhere any indication that he is going to talk about the lotus feet? The first three lines talk about Emperuman in a generic sort of way. They talk about the glory of Emperuman in a generic sort of way. So really, when you're reading the first three lines or when you're reciting the first three lines of Amalanadipiran, this particular pasuram, you don't really know what Angam this Arvar is eventually going to mention. And whereas when you look at Swami Desikan's slokam, right from the first line, you know that he is talking about the lotus feet. Okay, so for example, the meaning of Amalanadipiran is because so that you believe me when I say that in the first three lines, it doesn't explicitly talk about the feet. Amalan, embodiment of purity. Adipiran, the first cause. Adiyakku ennai aatpadutha Vimalan, he came to make me a servant of his devotees. Vinnavargon, Lord of the Nitya Suris. Virayar Poril Venkadavan, Thiruvenkadamudayan, who resides among fragrant gardens. In other words, he says that the Thiruvenkadamudayan and Thiruvarangan are exactly the same. Nimalan, Ninmalan, he does not see the faults of his Bhagavatas. Nidhi Vanavan, he is very just. Neel Madhularangathaman, the Lord of Srirangam that has huge ramparts. So you see, we've gone through 3 lines. Does any of them give you any indication that he's going to talk about the lotus feet of Emperor? The answer is, of course, no. So it's only in the final line he says, this Emperor, an Emperor who has such a great glory, his lotus feet, Kamala Padam Vandu, in Karnilulana Okkindrade, his lotus feet came voluntarily and entered into my eyes. So that's the part, the very last line that you get to know that he's talking about his the lotus feet of Emperor Man. Okay, so anyway, so those are some interesting differences between. So you'll find that in general, Swami Desikan's slokas, they right from the first line they will start describing the particular angam that is the topic of that slokam. Now, also we want to see how in Narayaniyam, Sri Bhattatri describes the lotus feet. So here, that would be in the 100th dashakam. That's the climactic dashakam of Sri Narayaniyam, and the 10th sloka. So there he says, Yogindranam, that is for the great yogis. So Tvat Angreshu, among thy angas, Adhika Sumadhuram, that is your feet are the most beloved for the great yogis. Now see how he describes it. Madhuram means sweet. Sumadhuram means very, very sweet. Adhika Sumadhuram, that means exceedingly very sweet. I think Bhattatri is using all the adjectives and adverbs that he can think of. So that's essentially saying for the great yogis among thy angas, they are the most beloved. And it's not just for the great yogis, it's for all the Bhagavatas as well. And then he goes on to say, Mukti Bhajam, that is those who have attained Mukti, they nivasaha, they reside there. So that is their residence. That is the holy feet of Emperor. That is the residence of all those who have attained Mukti. That's also the place where all the those who are on this earth, so that they are always prostrating at his feet. So in some sense, all the Bhagavatas, you can say, reside at his feet. And in fact, one explanation for why Sri Devi and Bhudevi are always caressing Emperor's feet is not because they are serving Emperor, it's because that's where the Bhagavatas reside. So in some sense, they are caressing the Bhagavatas. So that's the interpretation that some people assign. Okay. So and also I have this poetic translation of this slokam, and the poetic translation I've tried to conform to this Anapest meter, which as I said is tuck 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 kind of a meter. So there is every third syllable is emphasized. And so here you will find that the number of colors is much less. And in some sense, it may be easier on the eyes for you, depending on, but it won't give you a word by word meaning, but it will give you the general meaning of the individual colored phrases. Okay, for example, Velatita Shruti Parimalam. So those fine Vedas, their fragrance, it wafts from his feet. And the Vedasam, Holy Savium, and those gods, all distinguished, heads bowed at his feet, and so on. So if I were to say it with that meter, it will be those fine Vedas, their fragrance, it wafts from his feet, and those gods, all distinguished, heads bowed at his feet. On the banks of that river, great Puni appeared, where the swans and acharyas do verily abound. Our Sri Devi, Bhudevi, with lotus-like hands, O the Lord of Sri Rangam so gently caressed, and his lotus feet firmly reflected in me, in my thought a still pond, quite unruffled, serene. Okay, so that's the poetic translation. So now we are about to learn to chant this particular slokam. So what I will do is I will chant each phrase. I put an asterisk in the middle of each line. So I will kind of pause and give you a chance to recite, and then I'll recite the second half of the line. You will recite the second half of the line, etc. Okay. Velatita Shruti Parimalam Velatita Shruti Parimalam Vedha Samauli Sevyam Vedha Samauli Sevyam Pradhurbhutam Kanakasarita Pradhurbhutam Kanakasarita Saikate Hamsa Jushte Saikate Hamsa Jushte Lakshmi Bhumyo Karasarasi Jair Lakshmi Bhumyo Karasarasi Jair Lalitam Ranga Bhattu Lalitam Ranga Bhattu Padaham Bhojam Pratiphalati Me Padaham Bhojam Pratiphalati Me Bhavana Dirghikayam Bhavana Dirghikayam. So what I'll do is I'll now chant. You can chant the whole sloka with me. Okay, so you will say it with me right from the beginning of the sloka to the end. Velatita Shruti Parimalam Vedha Samauli Sevyam Pradhurbhutam Kanakasarita Saikate Hamsa Jushte Lakshmi Bhumyo Karasarasi Jair Lalitam Ranga Bhattu Padaham Bhojam Pratiphalati Me Bhavana Dirghikayam. Okay, so that is verse number 2 or sloka number 2, and it's about the lotus feet of Emperor. Now we are going to go on to, so we are now climbing one step on that padikattu or that sOpAnam. And now the angam that we are going to look at is what in Sanskrit is called jangha. Jangha refers to that part of the body from the ankle to the knee. In Tamil, they call it kanaikal. Okay, so the kanaikal is what we are going to look at, the part from ankle to knee. So you find that Tirupanarvar does not talk about this, but it's something that Swami Desikan talks about. So in some sense, you can say that Swami Desikan is a little bit more deliberate in his traversal from pada to the kesam, from the padam to the kesam. So he tries not to leave any angam untalked about, not talked about. Okay. So the jangha is the angam that we are going to talk about. And the bottom line message is that his janghas moved him fast, that is, moves Emperor fast, but they still my wandering, they quiet my wandering. So that requires some explanation. So what Swami Desikan is going to say is that in Krishnavataram, for example, in Krishnavataram, he went as a messenger on behalf of the Pandavas to the Kauravas. And Swami Desikan says that that required that he move very fast. And Swami Desikan credits his janghas with doing much of the work. They are the ones who propelled him. So in that sense, all the movement of Emperor, all of his wanderings, especially on behalf of the Pandavas to the Kauravas, so he gives credit to the janghas for doing that. So his janghas moved him fast. They were responsible for moving him, especially as a messenger. But then by reflecting on that jangha, on that kanaikal, what Swami Desikan says is that he will achieve moksha, and thereby his wandering will cease. That is, his wandering from one birth to another birth to another birth, etc. That endless wandering through the cycle of births, that wandering is going to cease, so that the jangha has more or less opposite effects on Emperor and his bhaktas. As far as the Emperor is concerned, they are responsible for his constant motion. But as far as the bhaktas are concerned, when the bhaktas surrender to that jangha, they are able to achieve moksha. And so in that sense, all of their wandering ceases. So these janghas move him fast, but they still my wandering. They bring my wandering to a standstill. So that's what he's going to say. So it's a beautiful concept. So Swami Desikan nicely contrasts the role of the Janga for Emperman on the one hand versus the role for the Bhaktas on the other hand. Okay, so here's the general meaning of the overall sloka. So he's going to say the Jangas sparkle with multiple colors from the shine of the anklets gems. By the way, the colored words, phrases here correspond to the colored words. So if you want to know the meaning, then, for example, if I look at this green thing here, that is the third green in the sloka. So you look for the third green here. So very swift. Drutatara means very swift, etc. Okay. So in that sense, it's easy to relate the meanings to the original Sanskrit words. But all the black words are just linking words or words that explain the context. Okay, so you need those to form complete sentences, because the poetry by itself that does not necessarily form complete sentences, and also it does not completely explain the context around which that verse is constructed. Okay, so the Jangas sparkle with multiple colors from the shine of the anklets. So the Emperman has anklets. The anklets have a beautiful shine. There's a picture of the sparkling gems on the holy feet of Lord Venkateshwara. So the anklets have a shine, and they throw the multiple colors on the Janga, okay, on the Janga of Emperman. And he says that they are beautiful. And the Jangas themselves are beautiful for a couple of reasons. They are perfectly round, he says, and they are very uniform. So from the top to the bottom, they are uniform in roundness. So there are no blemishes. He's Emperman, so everything is perfect about him. And then now he's referring to how they helped Emperman in his role as a messenger for the Pandavas. So for his timely work as a messenger, their gait, that is the gait, his walking, which was provided by the Jangas, that was very swift, the Swami Desikan says. So that they were responsible for propelling him in his role as a messenger, and they in fact provided considerable power to him in that role. And this is a beautiful thing. Swami Desikan always thinks of Emperman's beauty as a kind of a fluid. So and because there is so much beauty, there is so much of that fluid, and so that fluid is going to overflow. And Swami Desikan assumes that the law of gravity will work on beauty as well. So he thinks of the Janga, that is the Kanaikal, as a pot or a vessel that will collect all the beauty that overflows from the upper parts of Emperman, because the upper parts of Emperman are filled with so much beauty, just as the Janga itself is. But so when that beauty overflows, then the vessel that collects all of that overflowing splendid beauty is the Janga, he says. Now, this is a recurring refrain in this Bhagavad dhyAna sOpAnam. This overflowing beauty. You will see that Swami Desikan keeps referring to that overflowing beauty in multiple slokas. Okay, so he says that the Jangas are a vessel collecting its overflowing splendid beauty. And also because they're very close to the knees, the beauty of the knees doubles the beauty of the Jangas. So from his knees beauty, the Janga's beauty is double. And then here is the part where he describes the opposite effect of the Janga on the Bhaktas. He says, my soul, by worshipping the Lord of Sri Rangam's Janga, leaves the state of wandering forever in endless births in samsara margam. So it leaves, so normally we are going from birth to birth to birth, etc. But by worshipping the Lord of Sri Rangam's Janga, Swami Desikan says, he is able to leave that state of wandering from birth to birth to birth and achieve moksha, achieve liberation. Okay, so that's the overall meaning of this slokam. So let's start going through the words of this slokam. I'm pointing to the English words because they're kind of split in some sense. So it will be easier for you to see the individual words. The Sanskrit parts, they kind of combine the words, so it may be harder for you to see the individual words that are combined. And also because I've added colors, they kind of break it up into the different words, the constituent words, okay? And one general comment here is that, for example, the vrittanu purvam. So here it's really formed by two words, vritta anupurvam. So it's not vrit and anupurvam, it's vritta anupurvam. But there's no way to indicate that unless I split it as vritta and anupurvam. So when you see something like this, you may have to suspect that it's not really anupurvam, it may be something closer to it, like anupurvam, for example, and it's not just vrit, but it's vritta, for example. So it's vritta plus anupurvam. Okay, so vritta is round, anupurvam is uniform. Okay, so anyway, chitrakaram kataka ruchibhi. Okay, so the kataka refers to the anklets. Ruchibhi refers to the shine from the anklets. They are chitrakaram. They throw multiple colors on the jangha of Emperman. So the kataka, the anklets, the shine, the ruchibhi from them, throw chitrakaram, multiple colors on the jangha of Emperman, and that's beautiful, he says. The jangha sparkle with multiple colors from the shine of the anklets gems. And then charu vritta anupurvam. Charu means beautiful. You may have heard an Ashtapadi called Priye Charu Shile. Krishna addresses Radha by saying, "O Priye Charu Shile." So Priye means, "Oh my beloved one." Charu Shile, beautiful charactered one. That is one who is noble in character. It goes on to say, "Munchamayi manam anidanam." That is, they set aside this unfounded anger directed at me. But anyway, the bottom line is charu shile. Charu means beautiful. So that same charu is used here as well. It's one of those words that will probably occur multiple times in Sanskrit poetry. You should learn that word, charu. It's beautiful. The jangha is charu. It's vritta. Vritta is it's round. Anupurvam, from beginning to end, or uniformly it's round. So it's very uniform. There are no blemishes. And that's what you would expect in any anga of Emperman. Kale dutya dhrutatara gatim. So this refers to his role as a messenger for the Pancha Pandavas. Kale, that is kale, kalam refers to time. Kale means timely. Dutya, dutam, of course, you know means messenger. Dutam. Kale dutya, timely messenger, work as a messenger. For timely work as a messenger, you will see that same color here, timely work as a messenger. Dhrutatara gatim. Gatim means gait, that is his walk. Dhrutatara was very swift. So he says that for his role as a messenger on behalf of the Pandavas, his gait was very swift. And who gets the credit for that? It's the jangas that get the credit for that. Okay, so this is a very significant role played by the jangha in the Puranas, in the Itihasas. So kale dutye dhrutatara gatim. Now this business of serving as a messenger for the Pandavas, I think it's probably described in the most glorious way in Silappatikaram. It's also described in Arvar, Pasurams, and so on. But Silappatikaram describes it kind of very elaborately. It says here, Nutruvar Bal. Nutruvar means the ones who are 100 in number. That, of course, refers to the Kauravas. Nutruvar Bal. Natrisayum Potra. Padandaranam Muranga Panchavarku Tudu. Nadandanai Etada Na Enna Nave. Narayana Enna Navenna Nave. It says here, Nutruvar Bal. So to the Kauravas, Nal Disayum Potra. So when he went as a messenger, so it was not a quiet event according to Elangovadigal, who wrote Silappatikaram. It was not a quiet event at all. Nal Disayum Potra. So people from all the four sides, they sang Emperman's glory. They sang Krishna's glory. So Potra means to glorify. Nal Disayum. So it was not a quiet event. People on all the sides were glorifying him. Look at Emperman. Look at his Saulabhyam. Look at how humble he is, how simple he is, even though he is the Adi Piran, for the sake of his bhaktas, the Pandavas, he is taking on this role of acting as a messenger. So they were singing his glory. Now Disayum Potra, Padarndu Aranam Muranga. Aranam refers to the Vedas. So the Vedas were being chanted everywhere. So the Vedas praising him because he's doing such a noble thing. And also maybe the Vedas were being chanted to bring success to his mission. Padarndu Aranam Muranga. The Vedas were being chanted with complete energy. The Aranam Muranga, Panchavarku Tudu Nadandanai, the one who went as a messenger for the Pandavas. Panchavarku refers to those who are 5 in number, that's Pandavas. That Emperumanai, Nadandavanai, Yetada means to praise, the one who does not praise. And na means naku, so it is a tongue that does not praise the glory of the one who walked as a messenger for the Pandavas. What kind of a tongue is that? Na yenna nave, Narayana yenna na yenna nave. The tongue that does not say Narayana. What kind of a tongue is that? So you can see that it's spoken in the most glorifying terms by Silappatikaram. That is the Kale Dhutya Dhrutatara. Now, I want to point out a contrast here. Now, in Tirumangayarvar also wrote a Prabandham called Periya Tirumadal in Nayika Bhavam. Now, when Tirumangayarvar assumes the Bhavam of a Nayaki, he is referred to as Parakala Nayaki, just as Nammarvar is referred to as Parankusha Nayaki, Tirumangayarvar is referred to as Parakala Nayaki. So, in Tirumangayarvar, in Nayika Bhavam, has written a Prabandham called the Periya Tirumadal, where Parakala Nayaki is the lover, the one she loves is Emperuman. Madal means publicly humiliating your lover. So one of the techniques that was used in ancient times, and this was used more by the men than by women. In fact, women were forbidden from doing this. And the cheekiness of Parakala Nayaki is that she said, I was going to do this anyway. Okay, so what normally happens is that when a man desires a woman, but that woman is not interested in him or has not been responsive to him, then what he might do is he might do a madal, which is he might stand at the junction, at the corner of a street, and in a very pathetic state, so he will dress in the most pathetic state, and he will try to elicit the sympathy, the empathy of the people by saying that he has been let down by this woman, that she is the most heartless one, etc. So the idea is to humiliate her and thereby make her submit to being his wife, to marrying him and becoming his wife. And Tirumangayarvar, as Parakala Nayaki in Periya Tirumadal says, this Emperuman, he is not coming to me. I've called him multiple times. So I'm going to do a madal, even though women are not allowed to do that. I'm going to do a madal. And so I'm going to talk ill of Emperuman. That is, of course, she's not going to do that, but she kind of threatens. See, the idea is to show how much love she has for Emperuman. So the point is that not that Parakala Nayaki was willing to speak ill of Emperuman. That's not the point at all. It's just that she loved Emperuman so much that she was threatening to do this madal. So the Periya Tirumadal, and that's also a Siriya Tirumadal, in both of these, Parakala Nayaki threatens to do a madal, and of course, when you against Emperuman, and when you do a madal, you cannot compliment the person that you are missing. So you have to say something negative about that person. So what does the Parakala Nayaki say in that Periya Tirumadal? She refers to his role as a messenger for the Pandavas, but not in glorious terms, but in exactly the opposite terms. So she says, oh, you know what? This person is not great at all. He is just a servant. He's a servant who was sent on a walking mission. He was just doing servantly duties to the Pancha Pandavas. He says, Mannar Perinsabayul, that is in the Sabha, the Perinsabai of the Kauravas, Var Vendar Tudanai, as a messenger of Var Vendar, the Pancha Pandavas, Thannai Iganduraipa, with all the people around him speaking ill of him. You see what a contrast it is from Nal Disayum Potra and Padandu Arana Muranga. Those are glorious terms in which Silappatikaram or Ilango Odigal is describing that mission. And here Parakala Nayaki is saying that nobody was glorifying. Thannai Iganduraipa. If anything, people were saying, what a low job he's doing. That's the kind of person Krishna is. So Thannai Iganduraipa. Tan Munanal Sendradhuvam. Because the Parakala Nayaki's sole purpose is to try to humiliate Emperuman, so she has to speak negatively. So even though it's a wonderful thing that what Lord Krishna did, she is going to talk as if that was a terrible thing. So she will also say, for example, he is nothing but a thief. He stole butter and so on. So in other words, everything that Lord Krishna did, she will try to portray it as if it was a negative thing. Okay. But anyway, so it's beautiful. Okay. Kale dhutya dhrutatara. So that's what started all of this. For timely work as a messenger, their gait is very swift. Kanti lila kalachim. Kalachim, think of it as a kalasam or a vessel. Kanti lila, splendid beauty that is overflowing. This serves as a vessel which collects that. Like I said, it will be a recurring theme. Janu chaya. Janu refers to the knee. I mentioned earlier that from his knees beauty, the Janga's beauty is doubled. So that's the part here. Janu chaya. Janu is knee from its beauty. Dviguna. Dvi means double. So two, right? Dviguna means it doubles. Subhagam. Subhagam means the Janga's beauty is double. So the Janga's beauty, Subhagam, is Dviguna is doubled from the beauty of the knees, Januchaya. And then the last part says, okay, Mad Atma, my soul, Ranga Bhartur Jangam Društva, Ranganathanuடைய Jangavai Parthu Sevithu. That is Ranga Bhartur, Ranganathan's Jangam is Jangas. Društva. Društva literally means upon seeing, but you should expand it to say upon worshipping, upon praying at it. So upon worshipping the Jangas of the Ranga Bhartur, I've already mentioned that Bhartur means Lord. Bharta is a related word. Ranga Bhartur, Ranganathanuடைய Jangavai Partadum, avatra sevitadum. What happens? Jahati, my Atma, my soul, Jahati. Jahati means leaves, renounces, gives up. What does it give up? It gives up this Jangi Katvam, the business of wandering. It gives up this business of wandering. Wandering where? Wandering through Janana Padavi. So Janana means birth. Janana Padavi. Padavi is what we in Tamil say refer to as Padavi. Padavi means position. Mandiri Padavi, right? The position of a minister, for example. So Janana Padavi means the position of going from birth to birth to birth in an eternal cycle. So wandering through that Jangikatvam, the wandering through that cycle of births, that is given up. Jahati, my Atma gives up. So by Društva, so by Ranga Bhartur Jangam Društva, by worshipping the Jangam of Emperman, Ranganathan, my Atma, my soul, gives up this business of wandering through this endless cycle of births. Okay, now that's a very beautiful concept, and so there's also something that Tiruppanarvar says, Varamaya Paravinai Pattaruthu Ennai Tan Varamaki. This is a very beautiful part of Tiruppanarvar's Amaranadi Piran. Varamaya, Varam means heavy. Varamaya Paravinai. Paravinai means karma. So Paraya Piravigalil Irundu Varum Vinai. That is the karma that comes from previous births. They are very heavy. He says Varamaya Paravinai. Patru Aruthu. So Adai Aruthu. So he removes that bondage that I have from the karma of the previous births. Ennai Tan Varamaki. Then he made me to be on his side. So he talks about the kindness of Emperman in beautiful terms in Amaranadi Piran. Okay, so even though he's not talked specifically about Janga, I wanted to bring up this idea of Varamaya Paravinai Pattaruthu because Swami Desikan is also talking about achieving liberation. Okay, even though he's talking about it in the context of Jangas, whereas Tiruppanarvar will be talking about it in a different context. But the idea is the same. Varamaya Paravinai Pattaruthu Ennaitan Varamaki Vaitan Vaitadendri Ennul Pugundan Goram Adavam Seidanankal Ariyen. What great penance have I done? I really don't know. Tiruvaram Arbadandro Adiyenai Atkundade. There he is talking about the Emperman's holy chest, Tirumarbu. But it's in that context he mentions. But the basic idea is that if you worship any part of Emperman, you are going to achieve liberation. Okay, So that is the meaning, and I think we have gone through it word by word. And now what does Narayaniyam say? Narayaniyam, so that again is in the 100th, the climatic 100th Dasakam. The 9th Slokam talks about the lower legs of Emperman. So it says here, I meditate on your anklets, by which by their sweet sound tell your devotees that singing about your feet would do good. Okay, so if it says Manjiram means the anklets. Okay, and Manjunadairiva, by their sweet sound. Pada Bhajanam Shreya, they seem to be saying Pada Bhajanam, worshipping your feet is Shreya, Shreshtam, it is excellent. Worshipping your feet is Shreshtam, the ideal thing to do. Ityala Pantam, they seem to say. So your anklets seem to be saying by their sweet sound that worshipping your feet is the best thing to do. Then it says Padagram, that is the 4 feet. Bhranti Majyat, Pranata Janamano, that is the prostrating bhaktas' minds. Pranata, Jana, Pranata, those who are prostrating, Jana, people, Mano, their minds, namely the Bhagavata's minds, which are in great distress. So they will be lifted just like the Kurma Avataram lifted the Mandara mountain. So that is the analogy that he gives. So he goes on to say, Mandarodhara Kurmam. So just as the Kurmam Avataram lifted the Mandara mountain, so here the Emperman will lift the bhaktas out of their sorrow. So that's what he's saying in Narayaniyam 100.9. Okay, so that talks about the so-called lower legs of Emperman, and it's kind of similar to the Jangha that Swami Desikan talks about. Okay, and there's a picture of Sri Krishna pleading the Pandavas' case as a messenger. And here's a poetic translation. Again, Chitrakaram Katagaruchibi on that Jangha, from anklets, all colors displayed. Charu Vrittanu Purvam, it's so perfectly round, and the beauty all around. Kale Dutya Drutataragatim, on a mission so swift for the 5. For the 5 refers to the Pandavas, bore the brunt. Kanti Lila Kalachim, when the beauty overflows, it's a pot to collect that overflowing beauty. Januchaya Dviguna Subhagam, and the knee so exquisite it doubles our glee. Rangavattur Madatma, Jangham Drishtva Janana Padavi, Jangikatvam Jahati, and my soul, when his glorious Jangha perceives, in other words, when my soul perceives his glorious Jangha, I've taken the poetic license to permute the words, it abandons the tormenting cycle we call the samsara, wandering thankfully ceased. Okay, so on the Jangha, from anklets, all colors displayed, it's so perfectly round and the beauty all round. On a mission so swift for the 5 bore the brunt, when the beauty overflows, it's a pot to collect. And the knee so exquisite, it doubles our glee. And my soul, when his glorious Jangha perceives, it abandons the tormenting cycle we call the samsara, a wandering thankfully ceased. Okay, so let's try to chant this slokam. Chitrakaram Katakaruchibhi, Chitrakaram Katakaruchibhi, Charuvrittanupurvam, Charuvrittanupurvam, Kale Dutya Drutataragadim, Kale Dutya Drutataragadim, Kanti Lila Kalachim, Kanti Lila Kalachim, Januchaya Dviguna Subhagam, Januchaya Dviguna Subhagam, Rangabhartur Madatma, Rangabhartur Madatma, Jangham Drishtva Janana Padavi, Jangham Drishtva Janana Padavi, Jangikatvam Jahati, Jangikatvam Jahati, Okay, so we'll chant the whole slokam together now. Chitrakaram katakaruchibhi charuvrittanupurvam kale dutya drutatarakatim kantilila kalachim januchaya dviguna subhagam rangabhatturmadatma Jangham drishtva janana padavi janghikatvam jahati. Okay, so that was about the janghas. So now we go up another step on that sOpAnam, on that padikattu. And now we are on slokam number 4. So this one is about the thighs of Emperuman. Again, the thighs is an anga that Tirupanarvar does not talk about explicitly. In fact, from his feet, Tirupanarvar went straight to his pitambaram, the clothing that he's wearing on his leg. So he does not talk explicitly about the jangha part, nor about the thigh part. Okay, he talks more about the pitambaram that Emperuman is wearing, whereas Swami Desikan is a little bit more methodical, a little bit more deliberate in moving up the steps. Okay, so here Swami Desikan is going to say that this, first of all, is going to call Emperuman a youth, and then we'll have something interesting to say about that. And he's going to say his thighs, the thighs of this youth, are like banana trunks from Manmada's garden. In other words, Manmada apparently has a beautiful garden, because Manmada is a god of love. And so he has this very beautiful garden. And so he has a lot of banana trees as well. But there are two particular banana trees which are extraordinarily beautiful apparently. And Swami Desikan says the trunks of those banana trees, which are very, very, very beautiful, that's probably the thing that Emperuman's thighs can be compared to. Okay, so that's what he's going to say. And that's how beautiful they are. The overall meaning is, in the gorgeous Manmada's garden are firm banana trunks. The Lord's thighs can be thought of as them. So that's about the only thing that Swami Desikan can think of that can be compared in beauty to Emperuman's thighs. And the thighs are wrapped in a pitambaram. Pitambaram means is a yellow clothing, pitambaram. They are something that Sri Devi, Bhudevi, and Neela Devis use as comfortable pillows. That is Emperuman's thigh. Swami Desikan says they come in very handy as a pillow for the three Devis. When they get tired from caressing his feet or from whatever they are doing, they like to rest. So they just use his thighs as the pillow on which to rest. So they are something that Sri Devi, Bhudevi, and Neela Devis, they use as comfortable pillows. And then this Lord is also wearing a dhyAnam around his waist. DhyAnam is a waist jewelry. It also has a lot of gems in it. It has a lot of sparkle. And so the downward sparkle from that dhyAnam is throwing light on Emperuman's thighs. So the thighs look more beautiful from the downward sparkle from his dhyAnam. And these two glorious thighs are like flood streams of beauty. So you see that same metaphor happening here again, that idea of overflowing beauty. It's a dam that is bursting. And when the dam burst, it created two flood streams of beauty. And that's what the two thighs are. That's what he's saying. And then he says, my mind blissfully relishes these two magnificent thighs of this eternal youth, the Lord Ranga. Okay? So let's try to go through the slokam word by word and understand its meaning. Kama Rama Sthira Kadalika Stambha Sambhavaniyam. Okay, Kama Rama. Kama, of course, refers to the Manmadan, the Lord of Love. Kama Rama, the Manmada's garden. So he has Kadalika, he has Kadaliparam. You know that word Kadaliparam? So Kadalika refers to the banyan trees. I'm sorry, the banana trees. So Kadalika, Stambha, their trunk. Sthira Kadalika Stambha. Sthira means firm. So he has a garden and in which he has a beautiful banana trees. Two of them in particular are extraordinarily beautiful. They are firm, and their stambha, the stambha is their trunk, is what you can compare Emperuman's thighs to. Sambhavaniyam. Sambhavaniyam, bhavana, as you know, means to think of. Sambhavaniyam is, they can be thought of, the thighs can be thought of as the firm trunks of these two beautiful banana trees in Manmada's wonderful garden. So that's what the first line is saying. Kshauma shlishtam. Okay, so kshauma, that's the pitambaram, ashlishtam, it's wrapped in that. So that's the thighs are wrapped in beautiful pitambaram. Kimapi, it's something that serves as a upadanam. Upadanam means to the pillow. To Kamala, Kamala is Sri Devi. Bhumi, Bhudevi. Nilo Upadanam. This is the rules of Sandhis. It's actually Nila plus Upadanam. So Nila Devi. So the Kamalas, the Sri Devi, Bhudevi, Nila Devi. For them, it is something that serves as Upadanam, as a pillow. Nyanchat Kanchi Kirana Ruchiram. So the Kanchi is the Odhyanam, that the waist jewelry, which has a lot of gems studded in it. The Nyanchat is the downward. Nyanchat means downward. Kirana means Kiranam, ray of light. So the rays of light, the downward rays of light from that Odhyanam, from that waist jewelry. So they are very beautiful. They fall on on Emperuman's thighs, and they create they make it even more beautiful. That's what he is saying. And then he goes on to say the last part, 1.5 lines. The words are very highly permuted, so you have to be careful in unpacking them. Uru Yudmam Lavanya Oga. Uru refers to thighs. For example, in Purusha Suktam, Uru Tadasya Yadvaishya. Uru, from the thighs were born the Vaishya. So Uru refers to the thighs. So I think even earlier we talked about Padma Uru, when we talked about Sri Devi. So she is resting on the lap or the thighs of lotus flowers. So Uru generally means thighs. Uru Yugmam. Now Yugmam is also a word you've come across. Where have you come across? Multiple times. Yo nityamachyuda padambuja yugma rukma. So yugma means two. Yugma rukma, two golden, padambuja, lotus feet. So again, yugma, you will come across it very often, because whenever Swami Desikan or anyone refers to the feet, well, because the feet are 2 in number, so you will find that the word yugmam gets used quite repeatedly in that context. So the uru yugmam, the 2 thighs, lavanya oga. So that lavanya oga. So lavanyam is beauty. Oga means flood. So that the 2 thighs are like floods of beauty. Like it's the same metaphor I talked about. Imagine a dam, which is, the beauty tries to overflow, and it kind of creates so much pressure that the dam bursts, and it creates 2 streams, and those 2 streams are the 2 thighs. So that's what he's saying. So uru yugmam lavanya ogha, and then he goes on to say mamika matir, ennudaya chintanai, ennudaya mati, ennudaya mind. Mamika matir means my mind. Ranga Yuna, this youth. Yuna is Yavvanam. You know the word Yavvanam. Yavvanam means youth. So Ranga Yuna, so the young man called Ranga, is Dvayamiva, the 2 thighs, and Nirvisati. So my mind blissfully relishes. Nirvisati means Anubhavikindrade. So Mamika, Anubhavikindrade, or enjoys or relishes. Mamika Matir, my mind. Ranga Yuna, this youth called Rangas, Vayamiva, these 2 thighs. Nirvisati, it enjoys, it delights in, it relishes that. So my mind blissfully relishes these 2 magnificent thighs of this eternal youth, Lord Ranga. Okay, so that is the general meaning of the verse. Now, I want to say a couple of things about the abharanams that Emperuman is wearing. Now, normally people would say, Emperuman himself is a thing of beauty. So does he really need, are the abharanams really adding to his beauty? So the one viewpoint is that it's not the abharanams that are adding to the beauty of Emperuman. it's Emperman who imparts beauty to the abharanams. Just like if your wife wears a new dress and then she asks you, honey, how is this? And you're not supposed to say, you look beautiful in that dress. That's a very wrong thing to say and could lead to disastrous consequences. You're supposed to say, that dress looks very beautiful on you. So the idea is that the person adds beauty to what that person is wearing. So in a similar way, you could say that Emperman is adding beauty to the abharanams, even though the Swami Desikan talks as if the abharanams themselves are adding beauty to the Emperman. Okay, so but then Emperman is a thing of beauty, right? Yare aragukku aragu seivar. There's a saying in Tamil like that. Who in his right mind would want to add beauty to something that is already a beauty in itself? Now, I think in this context, there's something that I want to mention from Kalidasa's Shakuntalam. So where he talks about beauty and how things can add or subtract add to or subtract from that beauty. So the context is this: Shakuntalam is a great work of Kalidasa, and so Shakuntala is a daughter of Vishwamitra, the Rishi Vishwamitra, and Apsara Menaka. But she was abandoned by her parents at birth, and she was brought up by the sage Kanva. And you have to remember that Bharata is actually Shakuntala's son. The Bharata, as in Bharata Varsha, there is a lot of Bharata. The India's name comes from that Bharata king. That Bharata was the son of Shakuntala. But in any case, that Shakuntala was an extraordinarily beautiful woman, and then Dushyanta, he comes to the forest and he sees Shakuntala, and she's extraordinarily beautiful. But then she lives in the forest with a rishi, sage Kanva, and so she's not wearing a Kanchipuram silk sari bought from Nallis or anything like that. What she's wearing is a dress of bark and flowers. Now, so that's not exactly, they are not exactly commensurate with her beauty, right? So in some sense, they are a blemish. The bark that she's wearing, the wild flowers that she's wearing, that's because she cannot afford anything, she cannot find anything else. So you would think that they would detract from her beauty, but then Dushyanta finds her so extraordinarily beautiful that even these blemishes, the dress of bark, etc., they seem to enhance her beauty. And Kalidasa describes it very beautifully in this verse here. He says, Sarasijam anuvidham shaivale napi ramyam mali namapi himam shor lakshma lakshmim tanoti iyamidha kamanojnya valkale napi tanvi. And the last line, the fourth line is the most important one. Kim iha madhuranam mandanam nakutinam. Now, what does that mean? So in the first three lines, he goes on to say things like, the lotus is a beautiful flower, if you see the meaning here. The lotus is a beautiful flower, and if there is moss on top of a lotus, the lotus will still look beautiful, he says, Kalidasa says. And so he goes on to give another example. In other words, he goes on to give examples of beautiful things whose beauty is not tarnished by any blemish on them. So the lotus with moss on it is one example, he says. And then he goes on to give a second example. The moon's dark spot, for all of its darkness, enhances the charm of the moon, he says. And that's something that you and I would agree with, right? If you look up the sky on a full moon day, and you see this moon is a very beautiful round disk of light, and then you see these little black spots, the craters of the moon, and those are blemishes. But do they detract from the beauty of the moon? No, I think we would say that they all perhaps add to the beauty of the moon. Just as people put false macham or false mole on their face to add to their beauty, because by adding that blemish, they are actually adding beauty to their face. So what Kalidasa says is that the moon's dark spot, for all its darkness, enhances the charm of the moon. And similarly, this slender maiden is lovely even in a dress of bark. So that's the thing that Dushyanta notices. And then here's the concluding statement, which is the fourth line, in which says, Kalidasa says, for what indeed is not an embellishment for things exquisite? In other words, if something is exquisite, What can you add to it that will detract from it? Absolutely nothing. He says, what indeed can there be that is not an embellishment for things exquisite? And it's a rhetorical question. So there is nothing like that. That's what he's saying. So he says here, Kim iha, Kim means what? Iha means here. So what here? Madhuranam, for beautiful things. Mandanam means decoration or embellishment. Nakritinam, will not make. Okay? So in other words, what here will not, what on this earth will not make an embellishment for sweet and beautiful things. No matter what you put on a beautiful thing, if anything, you will be enhancing its beauty. You will not be detracting from its beauty. So that's what Kalidasa is saying. But in any case, if that's the case, if even blemishes can add to the beauty, then of course abharanams will add considerably to Emperor's beauty as well. So regardless of whether you think that Emperor needs the beauty from the abharanams or not, the point is that they're not going to detract from the Emperor's beauty. Okay, so that's the point that I was trying to make with this quote from Kalidasa's Shakuntalam. Okay, and then there's one other thing that I wanted to mention. Here Swami Desikan refers to Ranganatha as a yuna. Yuna as means is a youth. Okay? Now his Emperor, it's interesting because in Godastuti, Swami Desikan is going to say that Emperor is actually an old man. In fact, he is going to make fun of Sri Andar, Goda, by saying, "Oh Goda, you are so beautiful. Why did you marry such an old man? You could have married any handsome man that you wanted to. Why did you marry such an old man?" So in that context, he is going to refer to Emperor as an old man. Well, the question is Emperor a youth? Or is he a young man, or is he an old man? The thing is, both of them fit the description. When do you call somebody young? Well, he is young. If somebody is young, if he has many more years left, and of course, Emperor is going to be around forever, so he has many years left. And so, when do you call someone old? Well, if the person has been around for many years, and so Emperor has been around for many years, right? He's been here since the beginning of eternity, since the beginning of time. So in that sense, or even before there was time, if there is such a time. But anyway, so the point is that Emperor can be described both as a young man and as an old man. And so Swami Desikan, depending on the context, uses either one description or another description or the other description. Okay. So for example, so in Godastuti number 13, so he says, Nageshaya Sutanu Pakshirata Kathamte Jata Swayamvarapati Purusha Puranaha Evam Vidas Samuchitam Pranayam Bhavatya Santashayanti Parihasa Gira Sakhina. So you see, what he's saying is, oh Goda, now in talking to Goda, so he says, oh beautiful one, Nageshaya Nageshaya Sutanu. The Sutanu means, oh beautiful one. Why did you marry this old man? Where does he say old man? The old man is here. Purusha Puranaha. Purusha is man. Puranaha means old, extraordinarily old. The person you married, he says, is Purana Purusha, is an extraordinarily old man. Why in your right mind would you want to marry such a person, is what Swami Desikan is saying. And he starts off by addressing her as Sutanu. So that's, oh beautiful one. And he goes on to list all the negative things about Emperor. Does he have a good mattress? Does he have a sleep number mattress? No, he doesn't. He has a Nage Shaya. His bed is not a comfortable mattress. His bed is a snake. How could you choose a man who has a snake for a mattress? And also, he doesn't have a BMW. You know, he doesn't have a good vehicle. All he has is a pakshi as a vehicle. Do you think you will be comfortable sitting on a pakshi? You won't have, you know, leather seats and all those kinds of things. And he has pakshi rata. Okay, so he's describing the three negative things that he says. He has an ageshaya, he has a bed of snake. Pakshi rata, his vehicle is not good. It's just some bird that doesn't offer a comfortable seat. And then he's a purusha puranaha. So he says, te you katham jataha. So how did he become Evvaru katham jataka means evvaru unakku purushanana. Purushanana comes here. Swayam varapati. So swayam varapati, a pati that you chose for yourself. Swayamaga varittu திருமணம் செய்து கொண்ட பதியாக அவர் எப்படி ஆனார்? Katham jataka. How did that happen? How did he become your Swayamvara husband? He says. Okay, now so this is the part that is interesting. So Swami Desikan makes fun of Andal by saying, oh no, you're so beautiful, you should have married someone who is equal to you in terms of being handsome. But then having said that, he says, you know what, it's not what I am saying, that's what your Sakhis are saying, you know. So that's what he's going to say. So he's going to say, evam vidha, ivvaru various வெவ்வேறு விதங்களில் evam vidha samichitam pranayam bhavatya Sandarshayanti Parihasagira Sakhinam, your Sakhinam, your Sakhis, Parihasagira, they are using words of Parihasam, they are using, words of, making fun of you, etc. Parihasagira Sakhinam. So they are saying those Parihasa words, but you know what, Goda? They show to me, Sandarshayanti, they show to me, Evam Vida Samuchidam Pranayam Bhavatya. So it says pranayam means love, bhavatya, your samuchitam. This is the most exalted love. It's the most sublime love anybody can have. So see, Swami Desikan has now changed his story. He says the fact that you did all of this, that your friends are all making fun of you like this, to me that it shows that your love was the most sublime, because it was able to look past all of these superficial things like his age, the mattress that he doesn't, the good mattress that he doesn't have, the good vehicle that he doesn't have, etc. Okay, so effectively, so even though he starts off in a negative mood, he eventually comes around to say, all of these show me how great your love is for Emperman. But then the point that I want to make is that he's calling Emperman an old man here, which is exactly the opposite of what he's saying in bhagavad, dhyAna, sOpAnam. Okay, now I think even in the Shaivite literature, you will find words like this. For example, Parvati married Shiva, right? So there is a composition by Ghanam Krishna Iyer. I think this is all sometimes used in Bharatanatyam dances. So it's a beautiful, the words to this composition. So it's essentially, the refrain is, Yattai kandu ni ichai kondayadi magale. So Parvati's mother talks to Parvati, and she says, Yattai kande, what did you see in him? Ni ichai kondayadi. Ichai means love or desire. Kondayadi magale. How did you develop a desire for this husband of yours, this man that you're marrying? Yattai kande ni ichai kondayadi magale. Because I don't see anything. I only see negative things in him. And the mother goes on to describe all those negative things. And in Tamil, they say, Igarchi pondra pugarchi. Igarchi pondra pugarchi means it looks on the surface, it looks like it's talking ill, but it's really is high praise. Okay, so that's effectively what this poetry is also like. And so she goes on to say all the negative things about Lord Shiva. She says, Sutta Paitiyakaran Gangadharan. He's a crazy man, this Gangadharan, the one who's wearing Ganga on his head. Togaye, that's a complimentary way to address the daughter. Togaye means Mayil Togai Pol, Aragaga Irupavale. So, my daughter, who is as beautiful as the plumes of the peacock. Munnavan Peyudan Adiyat Undikko. Why did you fall in love with him? Is it because he danced with the ghosts in cremation ground? Remember that Lord Shiva is supposed to wander around in the cemeteries or cremation grounds, and they're supposed to dance with ghosts, etc. So Munnavan Peyudan Adiya Tondikko, she goes on to say that he has a big paunch. So did you fall in love? Did you fall for that paunch that he has, the one who dances with ghosts in the cremation ground? Param Kandaiko, or did you fall for the rags that he is wearing? Paraya Kandaik Tunigalukaga. Is that because of that you lost your mind? Yerum Nandiko, or is it because did you fall in love with him because of the Nandi, that bull that he uses as his vahanam, which is not the greatest vahanam that anybody can have, she says? Or Disayum Vindaiko, or is it for all the tricks that he plays? So look at the rhymes here. Peyudan aadiya thundikko, param kandaikko, yerum nandikko, seyyum vindikko. And then it goes on. So, I mean, in subsequent verses, she will say, Putti konditta malaikko, tarum selaikko, seyyum velaikko, siva lilaikko. And then another verse, she will say, Markandanakagave, Chandanai udaita kalukko, sambal melukko, karitolukko, kalai valukko. So it's very beautiful. The words that Ganam Krishna here chooses are very beautiful. But the idea is that this business of taunting the heroine about her choice of her lover or her husband, that has happened both on the Vaishnavite side and on the Shaivite side. And so that's what I wanted to point out. And of course, when you want to kind of make fun, of course, all in a good-natured way, of course, the Bhagavatas are allowed to take liberties with Emperuman. It's one thing for an atheist to talk ill of Emperuman, but it's a totally different thing for a Bhagavata to seem like he's making fun of Emperuman. And that the latter is always done in good nature and is very much accepted and appreciated and even encouraged to some extent. So all of this started because I wanted to explain this Ranga Yuna, where in our verse he describes Emperuman or Ranganatha as being a youth. Okay. Okay. So let's go on. In Narayaniyam, what does he say about the thighs? So in Narayaniyam, he says Uru, Charu, Tavoru. Uru again means the thighs. Charu means beautiful. Tava, Uru, stout. Here this means you're solid. So this Uru means solid. Uru, Charu, Tava, Uru, your thighs. So it goes on to say, I meditate on thy two handsome thighs, which are solid, soft, and charming, and they are stealing Rama's heart. Okay, so Chitta means mind. Ramaya is Sri Devi. Rama is Sri Devi. Ramaya's Chitta, Ramaya's mind. Chorao means chori. The Hindi word chor. So chorao means to steal. So your thighs steal Rama's heart. That's what it's saying. And then it goes on to say, Bhattatri also goes on to say that Emperuman is always covering his thighs with this pitambaram because he is afraid of exciting the whole world with the beauty of the thighs. So fearing to excite the whole world, definitely they are always covered with yellow silk cloth. So that's what he's saying. Okay, so that's what Bhattatri says in Narayaniyam when describing the thighs. Okay, and finally my poetic translation. So it says here, God. So Kama Dharma Stira Kadalika Stambha Sambhavaniyam, the god of love, 2 banana trees proudly he owns in his garden so gorgeous, and the Lord's thighs well compared with that. Shaumash Lishtam, wrapped in clothing so handsome, Kimapi Kamala Bhumi Nilopadhanam, so a pillow to rest for Sri Devi, Bhudevi, and Nilaji too. And that sparkle from, so Nyanchat Kanchi Kirana Ruchiram, and that sparkle from jewelry around that fine waist, falling on his thighs, they are a pure delight. And then it goes on to say, Nirvasat Yuru Yugmam, Lavan Yuga, Vayamiva Matir, Mamika Ranga Yunaha. On those thighs are they streams of his beauty overflowing. My mind dwells with glee on Lord Ranga, the youth so eternal mercy. So God of love, 2 banana trees proudly he owns. In his garden so gorgeous, Lord's thighs well compare. Wrapped in clothing so handsome, a pillow to rest for Sri Devi, Bhudevi, and Nilaji too. And that sparkle from jewelry around that fine waist, on his thighs pure delight, and those thighs are they streams of his beauty overflowing. My mind dwells with glee on Lord Ranga, the youth so eternal mercy. Okay, so let's chant it. And this, I guess I wanted to do 4 verses today, but it looks like I'll be able to do only 3. That's okay. Okay, so chant it after me. So half a line each time. Kama Rama Stira Kadalika, Kama Rama Stira Kadalika, Stambha Sambhavaniyam, Shaumashlistam Kimapi Kamala Kshaumāślishtam kimapi kamala bhūminīlopadhānam bhūminīlopadhānam Nyanchat kanchi kirana ruchiram nirvishatyuruyugmam lavanyaughadvayamiva matir mamika rangayunah. So let's chant the whole verse together with me. The whole verse. Kama Rama Sthira Kadalika Stambha Sambhavaniyam Shauma Shlishtam Kimapi Kamala Bhuminīlopadhānam Nyanchat Kanchi Kirana Ruchiram Nirvishatyuruyugmam Lavanyaughadvayamiva matir mamika rangayunah. Okay, so with that I'll stop for today. I'll say the final concluding taniyan. Kavitarkiga simhaya kalyana gunasaline Srimate Venkatesaya Vedanta Gurave Namaha. I'll formally talk about the meaning of this concluding taniyan, but you can still try to learn it in the meantime. Okay, so with that, we conclude today's meeting. I'm going to stop the recording.